Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brookelynne. I am currently just ending my career teaching and now transitioning back into going to the Disney College program. If you didn't know, I've already done one round with the Disney College program and I thankfully am so blessed to have been able to go out for a second round. And I know a lot of people post about the application process, getting accepted, but I don't see a lot of people posting about alumni getting accepted again. So I kind of thought I would just talk about what it was like this time for me in that application process. I do have my video that I posted when I first did the Disney College program, doing my role reveal, the DCP tag and everything like that. I'll link that somewhere for y'all, maybe down below or up here somewhere. So if you want to, you can go watch that after you're done watching this video. But today I'm going to talk about when I applied, the whole process of applying, when I got accepted, the whole process of me accepting my acceptance. If you didn't know, I also had to do a religious accommodation, so I'll talk a little bit about how that went and how I did that. And at the very end, I'm going to talk about why I'm not sharing my exact role just yet. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview. Let's get into it. Okay, so when I first applied to the college program this second time, I initially was doing it because I wanted to know what my rehire status was within the company. If you didn't know, my last program, I ended it early, which is called self-terming or self-terminating my employment. And I did that because I was going back to earn my teaching license and to teach. Obviously that didn't work out, but I knew that that was a possibility, me terming early. So I went ahead and told my leaders that I was possibly going to be leaving in July instead of in January. I told them as soon as I knew that was a possibility. So I told them at the beginning of July. By middle of July, I told them, hey, I am going back, and I left the next week. My leadership, my first program was amazing. I'm so sorry if you hear a dog barking. It's my cousin's dog. We're on family vacation right now, but just ignore the dog 1 minute. Sorry about that. But anyway, my first program, my leadership was amazing, super understanding. My one specific leader that I talked to the most about this, she was like, I completely understand. A career is a career, and Disney will always be here if you want to come back. So I loved them so much, and I really wanted to be placed there again. I'll go ahead and tell you I did not get placed there again, sadly, but that's okay. I can still visit them. But I told them, and whenever I went to the Flamingo Crossings Village office to self-terminate on that Saturday that I left, my leadership already knew that I had been leaving. And when I went, I was like, hey, I need to self-term. They were like, okay, have you told the programs desk? And I was like, no, they're not here today. So I just told like the Flamingo Crossings people, and they're like, well, okay, we'll start the process then. And they moved me out of my apartment, and then they were like, wait. And they looked at my program because they were going to end my program for me in the system. And they were like, it says that your end date is today. And I was like, it's a Saturday. End dates aren't on Saturdays. And my end date wasn't supposed to be till January. So I guess my leadership somehow went above something and changed my end date without letting the Disney Flamingo Crossings programs thing know, so that I was in good standing. But I didn't know that at the time. So I thought, usually whenever you self-terminate, you cannot apply for anything for 6 months after that. So about 4 months in October, I decided that I wanted to start looking to go back to Disney, but I didn't know when exactly I would be allowed to start applying again. There was a number I could call, but I really didn't want to call a number and have to talk to someone. So instead, I, on October 18th, applied in the early afternoon for the Disney College Program 2023 or 2024 spring group. That was in the early afternoon, like I said. That application asked my top preferences for roles, previous experience, all that. Honestly, this application was probably not my best application I had ever put in because I was not expecting to get an offer. I thought that I wasn't eligible, and I was hoping that if I submitted this, they would just, whenever I did my phone interview, I could be like, hey, am I eligible, by the way? If I got a phone interview, or like if I submitted it and immediately got a kickback email saying that I wasn't eligible, then hopefully it would give me a date. That would be like, hey, you're not eligible now. You're on the no rehire list until this date. I was hoping something like that would happen, but it didn't. So I did that application early in the afternoon, probably like 2 or 3. And then I got a phone interview request by email the same day at around 5:30, so just a few hours. I was like, okay. And this was October 18th. I was actually going that weekend to Disney World for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party with my sister and my mom. And I was like, there's not any available time slots that are not on this vacation. So I picked October 20th at 10 a.m. Now, if you watch my Disney World vlog, when me, my mom, and my sister went, that's around the time that we were resort hopping around the monorail resorts. So what actually happened is we were on vacation, and I knew I had this thing scheduled to hopefully figure out when I would be eligible to go back to Disney. So I told my mom, like, hey, I had this phone call to kind of figure it out. And we decided to go ahead and go to the resorts. So we get on the bus from our resort at All Star Music, get on the bus to Magic Kingdom, and we're starting to go through Magic Kingdom security to get on the monorail when I realize it's almost time for my interview. So I wait outside. We wait outside the security area, and I end up getting my phone call. And my first interview, I'm not kidding you, for my first college program took maybe 5 minutes. It was the fastest phone interview I've ever had for anything. My first interview was a man, I do not remember his name. He was super sweet. Essentially told me right then and there that I was going to get children's activities probably. That's what he was going to recommend me for. And it was kind of like, clear cut. This interview was about, I think I wrote down exactly, it was 19 minutes long. She called at 11:02. It was a woman this time. And we talked a lot about a lot of different things in a short amount of time. I didn't record, obviously, because that's not allowed. You're not allowed to record your phone interview. A lot of people have done it in the past, and they've actually started now. Whenever they start the interview, they have to ask if you're recording, because so many people have done it. It's not allowed, so don't record your phone interview. If you've seen other people do it, it's because they did it before they made that rule. But yeah, did not record it. And this interview heavily focused on my previous experience in the DCP, in children's activities, and then in custodial. Don't know why. So it started out, I'm pretty sure it was kind of a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember, and I have like some notes written behind me, so that's why I'm keep looking up. But she essentially was asking, how was your first program? Why did you self-term? Well, she couldn't even tell I self-termed. I told her I self-termed. She was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So I guess they don't have access to that information. But I told her why. I told her how my experience was, told her I loved my leadership and all that, and was like, I would love to be placed in this again. It was perfect. However, I am open to new experiences. And she was like, well, what do you think about custodial? And I was like, oh, Lord, because I know a lot of alumni request custodial when they come back, because custodial in the parks, you get to roam around the parks, get to do a lot of guest interaction, the art on the ground with the water, the custodial does that, all that fun stuff, which is great for them. However, I am not good with Code V. As a teacher, I was not good when I had Code Vs. And I was trying to be upbeat, and I was like, okay, if there is a possibility of me getting rehired, like, before January, I need to, like, be okay with it. So I was like, I'd be open to that. And she talked about that for probably 10 of those 19 minutes. And then we talked about what parks I liked best, where I want to be placed if I was placed in a park instead of a resort. And at the end of the phone call, I felt pretty confident that I might be able to get back in again. I still had no answers on when I was rehirable, because according to her, I was rehirable in that moment, and I wasn't expecting that. But as with anything else, I was kind of nervous about some of my answers. For example, I have previously worked in fast food. However, I have a skin condition. It's chronic hives with unknown triggers, so I have to be very careful about what I eat, where I go, long exposure to heat, which I thankfully did not have any big flare-ups when I worked last time in children's activities. I was in the summer on the pool deck all day, and I didn't have any bad reactions at work, but I stayed up on my medications and everything. But I did not want to get put in for food service or food and bev or quick service. So I made sure to like kind of slide in there and be like, just so you know, I do have a skin condition and I can't be around a bunch of different foods. And then she was like, well, in children's activities, you were around food. And I was like, I was around marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers. Those are not any of my triggers. So I was okay with those, but like experimenting with different foods is dangerous. So I was kind of scared that she was going to think I was like, you know, I was kind of scared that she was going to be like, oh, she can't be in heat. She can't be around food. Let's just not give her a role at all and like not let me back into the program. And like I said, I didn't mention that I had been in food service before, so I really didn't want to be in food service before, but I was afraid since I had experience, she was going to put me there. And then, like I said, we talked a lot about custodial, and I did not want to do custodial. We didn't really talk about any other of my top preferences. Some of my top preferences were children's activities, which we talked about a little, but not a lot. Merchandise, which I would love to do because you get to go to so many different locations and pick up so many places. Attractions, and then concierge was something I was like, maybe not, I don't know. But we didn't really talk about those ones that round, so I wasn't really didn't know what to expect with this. Then again, I still wasn't 100% sure if I could be hired, so there was that whole sub context in my mind the whole time. Well, like I said, that was October 20th. October 26th at 10:30-ish, I got my acceptance letter. And I was like, what? So that's when I had to pay my first round of program fees, picked my dates, which my dates that I picked were January 8th through May 9th. Those could change. I'm intending now to extend and go full-time or part-time and get my own apartment down there. There's also a professional internship I want to look into. So all that, but for that moment, I just picked my dates, and I signed up for dorms, my dorms account, which I already had one, so I just had to reset my password. And then after I signed up for dorms, I had to wait until November 13th to register for dorms, which if you don't know, for registration in dorms is where you rank your room preferences. There are 2x2s, which is 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms in each apartment with 2 girls per room. So 4 girls, 2 rooms, 2 bathrooms. 4x2 is 4 rooms, 1 girl per room, 2 bathrooms. So I would share a bathroom, but not a bedroom. That's what I had last time. And then a 4x4, which is I get my own room and bathroom and just share the apartment with 4 other girls. So for that, I ranked it 4x4, 4x2, 2x2. And I was really hoping this wouldn't mess me up because last time I did 4x2, 4x4, 2x2, and I got a 4x2, which was my top choice. And I really did not want to share a room. I told them in that registration that I was bringing my car, and if I had linked with any roommates, which I didn't find anyone that I wanted to link with. I just kind of like the random roommate situation. I did that last time and it worked out great. So I didn't link with a roommate, but if you were wanting to link with a roommate, you would do it during that registration process. So that was on October 26th. Nothing else happened until November 21st. That's when I made my second payment for my program fee, and I submitted my religious accommodation request for my costume change needs. If you didn't know, I don't wear pants or shorts. I only wear skirts or skirts that go to my knee. So because a lot of the costumes do require shorts or pants, I had to make that request. So I put that request in then. Nothing else happened again from November 21st until December 10th. December 10th, I got my lease. And even though you put in your preferences of what room type you would like, they cannot always give that to you because there might be someone with a medical accommodation or an emotional support animal or a service animal that needs that room. So like I said, wanted my room, but I did get placed in a 2x2 this time, so I will be downsizing. But my program length is much shorter this time. I only signed up for about 3 or 4 months instead of the 7 months that I did first time. So I can deal with it. I'm planning on getting my own apartment anyway. So I will have a roommate in my room with me this time. Not that excited about it, but we can live with it. So I got that on December 10th, signed it. You have 72 hours to sign it or something like that. That was on a Sunday. On Monday, December 10th, I got my tentative role. Now, my tentative role was attractions in Toy Story Land, which Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. However, it wasn't children's activities, which I was kind of bummed about. And Toy Story Land is my least favorite land. Even though it's in my favorite park, it's my least favorite land because it is so hot. There is no shade there. But I was trying to be positive about it. I met a lot of really cool people on Facebook. In one of the groups, we made a whole group chat of like, you know, Andy's toys for the May 8th, or not May 8th, the January 8th arrival group. It was going to be great. And I still needed to do my accommodation because that is a shorts or pants costume. There's not a skirt option. So I had to end up doing a drug test and a bunch of paperwork for attractions. And then, because I got that on December 11th, did all that. I had my accommodation phone meeting to figure out what we would do for that costume need. It was on December 21st at 2 o'clock. My advocate, which is what they call the person who calls you, she was about 15 minutes late getting on the phone. However, it's okay. Her last one probably just ran over. I understand. It was like the week before Christmas. But she was a little late, so I was getting really nervous that I had messed something up. But the call honestly only lasted about 10 minutes. We just talked about what accommodation I wanted, why I needed that accommodation. We talked about what religion I was, which church I would be attending, what organization my church is a part of, that kind of thing. The reason behind me wanting a different outfit, if it was just for my personal feels, if it was like my church made me do it, which is not true. My church does not make us. It's my personal choice to do it. And where we get that from, if it's someone, like they were really focused on, does a man in your church, like the pastor, just say you can't do it, or do you actually like get it from a scripture, from a prophet, like which the reasoning behind why I do it is from scripture. So we talked about that, and then we talked about how they would accommodate me. Now, I told her I need a skirt for my costume, and she asked, okay, we'll see if we can get that done in attractions for Toy Story Land. If not, are you open to changing locations or even changing role? Or would you, if we can't get you accommodated in Toy Story Land, do you want to stay and wear the pants or go to another role that has a skirt? And I was like, 100% go to a different role that has a skirt. I'm like, me personally, I would not be able to stay and do that role if I did not have a skirt option. So she said, okay. She said, now I'm going on vacation all next week, so you'll probably get a call back next week from someone else, and they will tell you what we've decided to accommodate you, and all that. So I was like, okay. So I was actually going caroling that night and was not expecting a phone call because she said it would be next week. And I actually got a phone call while I was caroling, was not able to answer it. And they left me a message. And she said that they were not able to accommodate me in Toy Story Land attractions, which I understand, you know, there's a lot of moving parts. It probably would be a safety risk to have a really long skirt, especially like on Slinky Dog. I don't think that would even be possible. Maybe Toy Story Mania, but it would probably just be a safety hazard to have like all that extra fabric. So I understood. And she told me where they had accommodated me for. I'm really excited for where they have accommodated me for. It's not attractions, and it's not food and bev, and it's not children's activities. I'll go ahead and tell you it is a merchandise location, which I'm completely okay with. Because like I said, merchandise was one of my top ones because you get to go to so many different places. I know in Hollywood Studios, down Sunset Boulevard, there are shops there that their costume is like the strawberry costume, and it's a long skirt, so I could always pick up a shift there. I could pick up shifts in any of the parks, all that kind of stuff, so super excited about that. I'm not going to tell you exactly where though, because my paperwork has not changed. So even though she left me the voicemail saying they got me accommodated, none of my online paperwork on my dashboard for Disney programs or on my workday paperwork has changed. And I'm not going to be receiving my like schedule that tells me my training schedule until like next week, I think. So I'm not 100% on my location because nothing's changed, and I don't want to tell you my location and then it'd be completely wrong. So for right now, my tentative role is merchandise. I'm super excited. Like I said, this is my second program. I'm going to be in a different role, a different housing situation. So it's going to be a whole new experience, but I'm super excited to get this second chance to do the DCP. If you're thinking of applying to the DCP, 100% go for it. I didn't even think I was eligible, and now I'm moving there January 8th. So I can't wait to see where this journey takes me. Let me know if you have applied and are coming in the spring. I would love to get to know some of y'all. And that's all. My next video will probably be my goals for 2024, because life changed, got a lot of new goals. And then after that, I'll probably do my new role announcement. We're going to be doing a move-in day vlog, room tour, what training's like. And then since I'm merchandise, hopefully it stays merchandise, I'll be taking you all along as I try a bunch of different locations, park days on our days off, all that. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on all the content that will be coming soon. And I will catch y'all in the next one.